Hey, this is Casper Van Dien, star of Starship Troopers. Johnny Rico, you know what to do. I hate the FREAKQUELS podcast. Kill them all. Come on, you imps. You know what to do. They're dead to me. Kill them. Kill them all.
Beautiful, amazing people. Welcome to a brand new episode of FREAKQUELS. I am EJ Leeson, and with me today is my co-host, the smog of nachos, Rory Calrassi. What's up, buddy?
Not too much. I'm feeling pretty good today.
Yeah.
I saw that we have, I think, 3 listeners now.
Yes.
So I've just let it all go to my head. Been treating people like trash now.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. And of course, the podkeeper himself. When he wiggles, we giggle. Young Vince, what's up, baby?
Hey, dude, how you doing? I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here, as always.
Yeah. And special guest, first time on the show, and hopefully not the last. Please don't cancel him. Carmo, what's up, buddy?
Yo, what's up? Hi, everybody.
One of our 4 listeners.
Hey, you don't know that. This might be the last time you want me on here. You don't know.
Well, we are judging you.
It's
We're taking notes.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday. It's a day. So.
There's some boxes that if you check them all, you're gone.
Yeah. Mid-show, we don't care.
Yeah.
We've kicked people off the show.
Yeah.
Mid-show.
But yeah, I'm so pumped to have you on. I've known Carmen for maybe 15 years. No, 18 years. 2005, right?
Wow, your friendship's legal.
No? Is it longer?
Homie, we were teenagers. It was like the 90s, dude.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
Wow.
90s?
Maybe
I thought it was 2000s. I don't know. But maybe I'm wrong.
I think I'm going to make the decision to not come back.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Because he doesn't think much of your friendship.
But
obviously.
We met in jail. And that's how.
He got out first.
Yeah.
And Carm, I believe we met during a one-night stand.
Yeah.
You had to think about it.
Literally, I had to.
He thought it was more than one night.
I couldn't remember which one it was because it was. We were 2 ships passing in the night. I was leaving. He was coming in.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly
Scenarios.
what happened.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like a revolving door. What's going on?
Yeah, 2 ships coming
We
in
just
the
looked
night.
at each other. We locked eyes knowingly. Just knowingly.
This is how it's going.
We knew we'd be friends.
Yeah.
But I just want to throw this in here real quick. You are, I would say, one of the most consistent reposters.
Yeah.
Is that a term? You share our show the most.
Yeah.
Because I care.
Yeah.
You and Becca.
Sharing is caring.
It is.
Yeah. And Ross does too.
Yeah, Ross is pretty. He's on it.
Joe Petito's on us all the time, yeah.
Yeah.
But you've been on that since
Every single episode.
Yeah, well, it's
every
good.
episode.
It's good stuff. It's really good. You guys are good. Not to please have me back. No, but it's really, you guys are really good.
Yeah.
It's really enjoyable. It's very entertaining, and and that's why when you asked me to come on, it's one of the reasons I wanted to come on was because Rory likes to say, we appreciate film. We're not trying to tear anything down. We're just a bunch of friends goofing on stuff.
Yeah,
right.
And that's fun for me, and that's what I like to listen to.
Exactly. I have to
Well,
say
wait,
this.
let him keep talking more about us. Tell us more how you like us. I like this.
I mean,
I'm joking.
Well,
Vince,
Vince,
to be truthful,
Vince-
I asked him to read a review of ours, but do it in the opposite.
Oh, the opposite way? Yeah, okay, gotcha.
well, I was going to talk about Vince's job and his strong chin and his beautiful eyes, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I do.
You never get used to him.
No,
it's
No.
every time I look over, it's like I'm seeing something for the first time.
tall, dark, and handsome. That's what
He's
they call me.
he's like the eye of Sauron.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. He's just always watching.
Always watching.
Correct.
And we just see him. You just look in the sky, you see him. He's there.
In fact, when Vince called me earlier tonight, he was like, I picked up, he's like, I see you.
But one of my favorite things ever, Carmen helped me with 2 of my favorite voicemails that I've ever had. So I have to bring this up because they were like genius. So the first one is so I answer the phone and I go, "Hello, thanks for calling EJ. Sorry I can't get to the phone right now."
Dude,
and then,
watch the road.
and then you just hear like the car swerving. It's like, look out for the dog, look out for the cat, look out for the lady.
Why do they keep driving in?
And you just hear all these car crashes. So he provided all the sound effects and everything. It
That's
was amazing.
fantastic.
And then my other favorite one, of course, is the home invasion one, where I'm like, "Hey, this is EJ. Sorry, I can't get to my phone right now." And then you hear ding dong. Right? I'm like, "Oh, hang on a second." And then I open the door and it's like, "Get on the ground! Get on the ground right now!" Bang, 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 boop. And then that would be my voicemail.
Your family not a big fan of that.
Right?
Either of
Yeah, my
those.
mom hated the one car crash one. She was like, "EJ, are you okay?"
She doesn't quite get that it was like a message.
Right?
Oh my god, I lost a son today.
No, but you know what though? No, because she would be the first person to appreciate that. Because you know how her
Yes.
sense of humor is.
Right.
She's pranked me before.
Yes, I know.
Your
And-
mom is hilarious.
Yeah, she's a hooker. But yeah, no, I. No,
Good Lord.
She always goes
Hilarious
along
hooker
with it,
sounds
though.
like a superhero.
But no, she's
What would
always
those
a good
superpowers
sport.
be?
You know
That's
what
gonna
they
be on
are.
Freakquels After Hours.
But yeah, no. So let's talk about your pick. So Carmen picked this movie, and I've heard about this movie for a long time. I heard a lot of not so great stuff. They're like, "Oh, this movie's a mess. It's kind of like a weird cult, like room status." And I was like, "Oh, cool." So going into this movie, I was expecting it to be like a hot pile, right, and goofy, but watching it, I was actually like, "Oh my god, I like love this movie." Right? Like, how did you guys feel?
I loved it.
Yeah.
After watching it, I was like, this thing holds up. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, they gave me a good movie to watch. And then going online and reading what people are saying about it, I was like, this is not the same movie. I thought this was
I know.
fantastic.
No, it was very like it. It was like I went in with appropriate expectations, but like it was so much fun. I had a good time watching it.
So this is your choice.
Yeah.
When was the first time you watched this?
Oh my god, back in February.
Okay.
So
So
we were-
this is not like everybody. Is this like the
Right,
first time
yeah,
everybody's
right.
seen
This is
this?
the first time we've all seen it because the reason why I picked this.
Back in February, the month we're in. I love that.
Hey man, we're both having days.
Everybody, listeners, we're recording this on February 28th, which is also Valentine's Day month.
January.
Right.
No, we got you. It's all good.
I gotcha.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I am looking just because I'm in need of a grippy sock vacation. Take me away. This entire room is a mattress.
But yeah, no, it was my first time watching it, and your first time.
Yes.
Rory, same.
That would be my first time. It was one of
Yeah.
those movies that I thought I saw. You know, because
Right.
you were like me when you were a kid. You just like rated video
Yeah,
stores.
yeah.
I missed this one
I
because I
know.
thought I saw it, and then it started. I'm like, oh no, I'd remember this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm that way. I thought I saw. No, don't. I'm the last movie. You would think that I did not see Buckaroo Banzai yet.
Oh,
I'm in my
can't
30s,
wait,
and
'cause-
I'm like, how did I miss that? It's one of those things that I thought maybe I saw, like sitting on the floor playing with my Thundercats, just on.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you guys see Buckaroo Banzai?
Not a clue what you're talking
I
about.
did play with Thundercats though.
Oh, okay.
Thundercats, I know.
Oh my
I know
god,
that shit.
Buckaroo Banzai stars Peter Weller,
Yes,
Jeff
RoboCop
Goldblum,
himself.
Clancy Brown,
Yep.
Met him,
Christopher
Peter Weller.
Lloyd, Jonathan Lithgow.
Really?
And like it's
nutty,
It's
apparently.
insane, and the movie is like all over the place, but in weird. But I loved it as a kid. It was like the coolest. And they're like a rock band, but also scientists.
Okay.
And it's really out there. But trust me, that's a movie we have to cover.
Not a
'cause I
band
feel
of
like-
scientists,
Wait.
a rock band of scientists.
What's the movie rated?
I think it's like PG, maybe PG-13.
Yeah?
No, yeah, it's
So
like
you can watch this, young guys.
But it is like the cast is like insane.
Yo, guys, Vince is away from the. Oh, hey,
Okay.
he's
Hey,
back.
nice try.
Oh, sorry, I almost got him.
But without further ado, let's dive into this movie. So today we're talking about Cannon Films Legend. Now, Cannon Films, for you guys that don't know, in the 80s, they were rolling out all these B movies that were like
Like it was nobody's business.
nobody's
I
business.
don't know if it was them or Golan Globulus that bought the cinema. All right, so basically, like in the UK, these two guys were just cranking out movies, and they didn't care about money.
Right.
Everybody that interviews them, they were filmmakers. They really cared about film. Money was no object to them. They would do whatever they needed. That's why these movies had like huge cast lists. That's why like Patrick Stewart was in this movie.
Right.
Like because they did not care.
Were they the cats that did the Masters of the Universe?
Yes. Yeah,
So
they did
did.
that.
They also did like Superman 4.
Yes.
Yes. Fun fact: a lot of people cut their teeth on this movie specifically, and not just the movies. Like people that worked on Flash Gordon were on this. People that were doing like stuff for Dark Crystal were on this.
Yeah.
We
Did
would
you
talk
see
about
the
the practical
opening credits?
effects.
Yeah.
Like,
The credits are ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
all the people
they're
involved
not-
with
it's
it.
not-
Yeah. I was so as soon as the credits were rolling. So today we're talking about Lifeforce,
John
by the way.
Larroquette is the
Which, by the way, I
Good work.
think the movie probably should have been called Life Thirst.
yeah.
Because all these men in this movie.
Okay, we're gonna
they
talk
are
about that.
thirsty.
Oh yeah.
And I saw
That was an A+ joke, guys.
That was A+.
All right?
yes.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it.
I didn't leave.
It's not that funny, man.
I'm good with
What were you
it.
saying before I rudely interrupted you?
I don't know. But no, yeah, it was nuts. And then watching the documentary, hearing some of these guys talk about her, and I'm like, bro, you guys at the time of filming, you guys were like 20, 30, 40, and she was like freshly 18.
She was 19.
Was she 19?
She was 19 years old. I watched a little video on
yeah.
Joe Blow. You
Yeah.
listen to that?
And she.
Oh no.
This was her first big role. When I say big, but for her, it was her first big thing that she's ever done. This movie. For
Yeah.
her. And I forget her name. Shame on me.
Matilda May.
Matilda May.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah. And it's nuts to hear them talk about her in that way. And then also, like, the old guys going in the documentary going, oh, well, she didn't speak English too well. And then it cuts to props. Oh, she spoke English fluently. Because all the...
They just want to pretend that they didn't understand the word no.
They did try to close the set as much as possible, but then like the dudes were saying, oh, we were all climbing the rafters. And I'm like, to watch an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old?
Yeah.
So they're like open about
disgusting.
being animals, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 80s? No.
No.
Oh,
How
in
could
the
they?
80s.
I know.
Really?
You know that filthy producer we're always talking
Yes.
about? It was a different time.
It was a different time, kids. So the film opens with a title sequence, and there's some names attached to this. So first off, there's Tobe Hooper, who directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and fresh off of like Poltergeist, which was like huge box office hit.
Spielberg.
Yeah,
Working with Spielberg.
worked with Spielberg on that. Then we got Patrick Stewart. This is before Star Trek, so this was like
But he was still a thespian. I mean, he was
right.
still
Yeah,
like...
he did like I Claudius at this
Yeah.
point and stuff. And then
Not fully bald Patrick Stewart.
Right,
He's still
yeah.
got the patch around the
Yeah,
back.
he's
the
still-
Hulk
yeah.
Hogan patch.
This
yeah.
is-
It's
this
not
is-
full
yeah.
cue ball. Yeah.
right. And then composer Henry Mancini.
I saw that.
And I was
Yeah.
like, wait a second, like the Henry Mancini?
That one? That
one?
That one?
And then I was like, he, so those who aren't familiar with them, in his music, he did the theme for Pink Panther, the Moon River song for Breakfast at Tiffany's, all the music for that. And it's just like this theme in like the opening theme.
What a get.
Incredible.
That is the thing, and that's one of the weird things about this movie is you don't get the full theme, and you can't really appreciate it because they put it at the end. I mean, they played at the beginning,
but not.
But like you can't. It's not like I don't know the Superman fanfare.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that was a really good.
You're saying there was a better place to put
Yeah,
that
it was-
music?
yeah.
I agree.
They talked about it. Too.
They
It
saved the
was-
good stuff for the end.
Yeah.
When everybody was
The
getting
credits.
up and leaving.
Yes.
the
Yeah.
theater.
Yeah.
That's when you want to do it.
And then finally, last but not least, Dan O'Bannon co-wrote this, And if you're not familiar with him,
Alien.
he wrote Alien.
And Return of the Living Dead.
And wrote Return of the Living Dead, which there is like some elements of that.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
there's a tar man looking thing.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of those dudes that did those practical effects were here. I mean, like there's a guy that was in ILM that I forget his name. I don't think it was John.
George something
Yeah.
Lucas. No, I'm kidding.
No, I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was John Dykstra. I forget who it was. Shame on me. But yeah, like
I remember there being a Dykstra.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the
No, only
other
because of
thing
Lenny
too,
Dykstra, and he was a
Oh,
in the
fun
80s.
fact! I was going to bring that up because my buddy got arrested with Lenny Dykstra in California a couple years ago.
Hold the phone. Tell that story.
Because I don't know if I should tell this story. I'm not going to say who. All right. So the TLDR is he was driving around with Lenny Dykstra, and Lenny Dykstra was doing some stuff he shouldn't have been doing.
Cocaine.
And he in the car at the time, and just guilty by association.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
His nickname was Nails.
Oh,
We'll leave it at that. They were
Yeah.
known for having sex in between innings underneath the bleachers in the 80s. The Mets. Yeah.
oh okay.
I mean, it was the 80s.
It was the
Baseball.
80s.
Got it.
Baseball. Excellent. All right.
Baseball. Got it. That was very Phil Hartman. Baseball. Got it. It was so good. Okay, so another thing Dan O'Bannon wrote, which kind of links to our last episode too. He wrote Total Recall, which was directed by Paul Verhoeven, and it kind of links
That and
this
The Running Man.
this sci-fi movie too.
So you're saying is I did a good job, man. I picked a good one.
You're
Eh?
crushing
You
it,
picked
dude.
a great
If you had
movie.
suspenders right now, you could very cockily
I
tug on
am
them.
like a
You
big
could have
boss.
tugged on those
Yeah,
suspenders.
like, I did a good job, fellas.
You can actually go
Yes,
home now. We're
fellas.
done with you.
Oh, good.
We got everything we needed. You're good.
Listen, friend.
Hey, pick up that mic and then drop it.
Please don't.
Do you know why I picked this movie? Do you know how I discovered it? I was on Imgur,
Imgur.
and it was Sci-Fi Appreciation Day or whatever it was, and post your favorite sci-fi whatever movies, and I'm going through, I'm like, oh yeah, I love this one, Buckaroo Banzai, I have to see it, and then this came up, and I'm like, vampires, I love vampire stuff from space, that sounds stupid, and then I'm reading it, oh, holy shit, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
So so I'm like, EJ, do you want to do this one?
And I was like, yes.
The
'cause
fact
I've
that
been
you know
dying to watch
Imgur and you
this.
pronounced it correct makes
Yeah.
me very happy. So I don't know if you guys know. Do you know what Imgur is? It's like a stupid website that share memes and videos, and you can. My wife says I look at memes all day, but no, you could like. They show recipes. They
Yeah.
show how
Oh, yeah.
woodworking is done. They show porn. They show just tons of stuff. But it's a really cool.
Porn
Sure,
recipes?
honey.
Yes,
Memes.
porn recipes.
You know, crafting,
No, I said
macrame, save my marriage.
cornbread recipes.
Oh, okay.
Therapy.
I can see the reflection on your glasses, you disgusting monster.
You're a sick bastard.
Cornbread.
But I'm glad I got to finally see it. Even
Yeah.
though I thought I saw it.
Right.
You know?
I
Yeah.
had a blast.
It was just very ambitious.
Well,
Yeah.
that is part of what I don't want to say hurt it, but you know the director. He was crushed by his own ambition a little bit.
Well, you know,
And,
the
like-
problem with it is that it's an elevator pitch that would last the length of the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers.
There
A lot of
is-
layers.
So, like, are we done? Oh.
No, because
20
he
more
kept,
floors.
No, because he kept shooting things.
Yeah.
And they kept telling him, "No, we got to cut this." And then he kept going to like one of the producers, "Look what they're doing to my film." And they're like, "But we can't." And these are the guys that are like, "Money's no object. Make the movie." And it's like they're like, "No, there has to be some line that we have to stop."
Well, it's like he
And,
tried
like-
to make a trilogy in one movie.
Yeah. Well, the movie, if you got people listening, it's an hour and 56 minutes and some change. It's almost 2 hours long.
And there's so much stuff that happens.
Three
And
It's
different
compact.
movies
And
Yeah,
like,
no,
together.
and the thing is, like,
It's
there
awesome.
and there are things. It's like, wow, it would have been nice to know that in the first act and not in exposition at the end, the final act. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever. I didn't want to, nitpick it, but I'm like, oh, that makes sense
No,
now.
it's no. But
But
this
it's
is like a really. It's not nitpicking.
Right.
I think this is one of those movies that you can find little things to
Right.
goof on.
Right.
But like, you cannot take away from the fact that they just like swung for the fences.
Oh, yeah,
You know
no,
what I mean?
they
Like, they
were-
were just like, we're gonna make this real crazy.
This is a
thing.
huge movie.
Yeah.
Well, even when they were like pitching it or whatever they were doing with it, they were like the people that were looking at it going, well, is this like a B movie? It's like a B. No, we're doing this thing, because it wasn't, they weren't getting their point across. It was kind of like seemed like it was like almost like a satire, but it wasn't. But like you were saying, like they really, like the people that did this were really passionate about it, and you can tell like they really like the what's his face Collins, right? No, who's
Carlson.
Carlson. Why do I keep saying
Steve
that?
Railsback, yeah.
Yeah, Steve Railsback. His performance, he was like in the throes of like having a freak out. Like he really went all the way.
Get out!
He was in like
get out! Yeah, I love that. It's so good.
Yeah, it was so good.
And for the audience at home, I would compare this. This is like kind of like a Dan O'Bannon take on Night of the Living Dead, what he did with like Return of the Living Dead, kind of taking something that exists, makes it his own, but also pays like homage to that source material. So this feels like Dracula, right? Because you have like the opening where this ghost ship comes into orbit. You know what I mean? I mean, we'll get there eventually, but it's very much Dracula, like with the mental link, the psychic link, and all that. So without further ado, let's get into the story. So anyways...
we're going to need you to fact check that.
So anyways, we open on the spaceship named the Churchill, and we get a brief narration about the ship, and on the radar, where there's a 2-mile-long ship that is spotted. And so the Churchill crew decide to inspect it and check it out and stuff. So a small crew of 4 go to check this out, and while they're entering the ship, they come across these giant bats.
I love that scene where they're floating in. It almost looks like they're floating into a butthole.
Well, I was just about to say that. Literally,
as they're floating in, my only thought was, that's a good speed to have.
Wait,
well, they're like,
for clarification purposes, where was the ship?
It was
in
an asteroid belt?
Exactly.
No, it was hidden in the corona of a comet.
Yeah.
And that's why they had to go in. They made the decision, we're never going to get this chance again, and the comet won't be back for 72 years. And it's like, but there's still protocol. Like, they literally, like, save for the spacesuits, they literally raw dog the vacuum of space.
Here's my thing. I understand what you're saying, but these guys have dedicated their entire life to it.
Look, Vince,
they're not going to be around in 70
years. I know
years.
the movie needs to happen.
All right, good. You're one of the first ones that understands that.
Okay.
You know, it's like funny when they were like flying towards the ship. Their little rockets.
Yes.
They didn't have like propulsion.
There was no tether, nothing. Audience at home, they're letting gravity pull them into this orifice. They don't know that it goes inside. I think I've been here before. Yeah, astronaut, if your doctorate was in proctology, you probably have been. Because I'm telling you right now, it looks like the video of a colonoscopy.
Yes, it does.
Right.
And
these guys are going in.
The little nodules.
Yeah, and
like, there's prescriptions for that.
The sphincter.
That guy's in pain.
Opens and closes. Yeah, it's. I mean, it was really cool looking, but I mean,
no, it was awesome.
Yeah, practical effects are insane.
Here's one of my comments, and then move on. The scope of this thing, just how big they made this look, was phenomenal.
It was incredible.
Thinking back to when it was made, that time, this thing is gorgeous and it holds up.
It was. I think it was really both a model and a matte painting they used. I think.
Inside the ship.
Yeah.
No, well,
Outside
the outside and then the inside, like a lot.
I was gonna say the inside looks like H.R. Giger threw up.
Yeah. It's wild because it's organic. It's not really metal. Doesn't show up on radar, and they were trying to make it look like, obviously alien. Cause it's
Dan O'Bannon was calling up Ridley Scott, and he's like, "You think I could maybe borrow stuff?" Ridley Scott's like, "I don't care."
So
Blade Runner.
So we meet Commander Carlson, who's leading this small team into the orifice, and so soon they see this light, and he's like, "You know what? Let's go. Let's keep going further." So they find some like glass coffins, like almost like crystal coffins, and inside
very Superman-esque.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Because they decide in their infinite wisdom, we got to take a sample. You're going to take a well, again, the movie needs to happen, so.
Right.
And they fisherman's net one of the bats.
Yeah, so they take one of the bats, but then also within this this coffin, like this room full of coffins, there's 3 that are still preserved.
3 humanoids.
Human form. Yeah, like humanoid form, all naked.
2 male, 1
They
female.
look like action figures. Inside protective cases.
G.I. Joes, yeah.
Yes,
Fun fact about that, the one main male was supposed to be Billy Idol, and he never made it to set. And the guy...
he was foreign. I read that too, yeah.
But the guy that replaced him, Chris Jagger, Mick Jagger's brother.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
well, he had the
fascinating.
moves like Jagger.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well,
Go home. I'm gonna go home.
So when the commander sees the woman, he's actually mesmerized by what he finds. And the commander says...
That was not in the script, by the way.
Yeah, he's like...
This is just some...
dirty.
Wait, I would say that I thought all the nudity was tastefully done. Sure.
It was.
Right.
It wasn't like over. It wasn't. I didn't think it was sexualized at all.
No, it wasn't. That's the interesting part about that, because he wasn't trying to do that. He was trying to make it like unnerving and artsy, because she's not human.
Yeah,
and she's doing
supposed
her thing.
To be lustful.
Yeah, right.
I was
right. She's supposed to beguile these men's minds, because you find out that's she's reading them to see how she can manipulate them.
I just thought she didn't know any better.
Yeah,
she doesn't know.
She probably doesn't.
Hey, for the record, my notes say neat naked action figures.
So yeah, the commander ends up finding these 3 preserved bodies, and he's like, okay, let's take 3 of those, the bat, and at least 1 dead body. And so when that happens, there's like this fade out, and it says 30 days later, and Mission Control gets a call, like they're calling out to Churchill, but the ship doesn't respond. So they send in a team, and it's pretty much like a ghost ship at this point. Like no one's aboard.
It'd been burnt up.
There's like parts of it have been set on fire. A lot of the crew look like they're literally drained.
They're desiccated. They're like mummified.
Which is kind of goes back to what you're saying about Dracula, like the Demeter.
Yeah, this is just like the Demeter coming aboard, like coming to shore, and everyone on the Demeter is just dead.
I just wanted to let everybody at home know that I read books.
Yeah.
I mean, most of them are picture books, and a lot of them have pop-up things going on within it. So, move on, Neej.
And
most of them have stickers.
Lots of stickers.
So pretty much a lot of shit went down. But back on Earth, a council is discussing what they should do with the crystal coffin humans that they found. And it's revealed that the girl's coffin actually opened. It's the only one that kind of opened up. And we see a research lab where she is laying pretty much dormant on a lab table. And one security guard sneaks in to like look at her. And when she finally awakes, he's like a little freaked out, but not really. He's kind of like,
hypnotized.
Hello. Oh, hello. And so she goes up to him, and she's really, lays on this kiss, but ends up sucking out his life force. We see
energy.
Where he gets, like his energy.
Wow.
And then we see one of the council members, he sees this on the security monitor, and he rushes down, and when he does, she kind of like touches him on the head, and then we don't see what really happens.
Fade to black
to him
again,
after
essentially.
That. Yeah, but he basically, he was like knocked out, and he's dazed.
Yeah, they're really leaning in heavy to the vampire trope of psychically beguiling somebody's mind.
Yes.
And seduction, and
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so good. And then we get where Professor Fallada, one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he's an interesting cat, right?
Yeah, he's so cool. He's like the older one.
Yeah.
That kind of knows what's going on with these things.
Studies cults and death in mythology and death,
vampires.
death in different cultures. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he calls and he alerts security because he sees Bufkowski, who's in a daze. And so he calls the security team, and he's like, she's a naked woman, you can't miss her. And eventually,
Shout out to the older, heavier security guard for having the only realistic reaction to her.
That is a great description, though.
Yeah.
She's the only naked one, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but it's a great description. But he's like, well,
Right, yeah, so she takes out all the other guards easily, and he actually sees her, and he just kind of, takes off that security guard you're talking about.
He radios 2 guards ahead, and one of them, they're eating food. Is it a joke? And then the one's trying to lure her down like a biscuit or a cracker. I don't know.
Thinks she's like a dog or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He literally goes, come to daddy. And the one security goes, she's not in her right mind, thinking she's got some kind of psychosis. She might be a patient. I don't know.
She could be rabid.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so weird. These 2 guys are
hey, come here.
Come
little
here, naked lady.
Yeah.
And then the one security guard's like, I'm doing my job.
Right. He's like, guys, we found her. But yeah, she ends up.
No, that's the wrong naked lady.
Yeah, she ends up escaping this research facility like no problem. She blows out the glass and just heads out.
Walks right out.
Yeah. And then in comes my favorite character, Colonel Kane.
Yeah.
He's fast talking, smooth, a man of friggin' mystery. And I love that he has a very Garth Marenghi type acting sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just, he's so cool. This is easily my favorite character in the movie.
What is Garth Marenghi? Explain that to me.
Vinny, mother of God. All right.
Who's Garth Marenghi?
Vinny, I think I need to hold you. And
Yeah,
it's gonna
we'll
be
tell
okay.
you. We'll talk about it.
You'll rock me to sleep
Yeah.
and tell me a story.
It's a
Yeah.
6-episode British comedy that was probably the most genius thing I've ever seen in my
Yeah,
life.
it was called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, and the hospital was built pretty much on the gates of hell. So all this weird stuff happens, and all the staff of the hospital, like doctors and nurses, have guns. And
The actors, it's a mockumentary of a mockumentary.
Right.
The actors are playing the actors. So there's 2 shows going on at once.
A hat on a hat. Got
Yeah,
it.
well,
Yeah.
really, yeah. There's this episode and then the commentary of the episode.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
everybody from like the Mighty Boosh to like, well, you
Right.
know, we'll tell you.
yeah,
Okay.
we'll talk about
Explain
it
it later.
It's hilarious. But so Bukowski fills in Falada, kind of fill Kane in on the whole incident and what was discovered on the Churchill. And Falada is like this expert, especially on this girl already, calling out her using Lifeforce and being a space vampire. Meanwhile, the 2 male space vampires wake up and they escape immediately too. As they're about to perform an autopsy on one of the
victims?
security guard, one of the victims who got life forced, it actually awakens. Very Dan O'Bannon, Return of the Living Dead style, like that half human, mummified look. I was like, I immediately, like, just down to the design, I was like, that looks so Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and for everybody at home, these are full size corpses. They
Yes.
literally rigged up full human sized. Like even the ones, sometimes the ones in the coffins were the ones that weren't desiccated, full size. The vampires that were on the operating table, the desiccated ones, full size and half animatronic. It was
Half animatronic,
Half
half
anim-
human.
right.
We-
Yeah.
Do you think that sentence has ever been said?
half animatronic.
No, vampire on the operating table.
It has now.
Yeah. No.
That would be a great band name though.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good T-shirt. After the "Fuck You Vince" shirts, we should do that. Vampire on the table.
operating table.
So this thing wakes up and it starts sucking the life out of the medical examiner, and when he does this, his form, the security guard, like kind of he takes back his original form,
Yeah.
and he's like kind of freaking out. He doesn't know what's going on.
It's essentially. Have you ever drank a Capri Sun?
Yes.
It's kind of like that, right?
Right, and exactly.
Yeah.
He, like when they do this, you see where the person just like their
Yeah,
cheeks
they-
are sinking in,
yeah.
their body's sinking in.
All
It's
practical
awesome.
effects, baby.
Yeah, all
What a
practical.
wonderful visual, Vince.
Yeah,
I have to give you
Capri
props.
Sun.
I kind of want a Capri Sun now. You guys want to leave
We
and
should
go get some
have just
Capri
like
Sun?
like a Capri Sun straw and one of the zombie heads.
I'll
or
run
something.
home and
I
get
don't know.
Capri Suns, and that'll be our
Yeah,
picture.
that's perfect.
Yeah,
So
you have kids, so you got those things on the ready.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have them.
So Kane gets a call that they found a dead naked lady in Hyde Park. So they rush over and they see that this blonde also is another victim, where her life force seemed like she was Capri Sunned. And, so they assume now
That's going to the vault.
that space vampire girl has clothes. They're like, well, she has clothes
It's
now.
closed now.
We'll never be able to find her.
Damn it.
The one description we had of her is ruined.
Do you remember anything else of what she looked like? No.
No.
I just knew she was naked.
Kidding me, man?
Do all women have hair on their head? Yes, sir. Well, then I don't know what to say.
She might have had hands.
She had like eyes, I think. What color? I don't know.
She definitely had feet.
Guys, we're terrible at our jobs.
Meanwhile, back at the lab, they witnessed that the person who came back, like that security guard who came back to life is now dying because it hasn't fed in 2 hours.
Is this the one where they have... No. I think it's the female that's on the table when they have all the stuff hooked up. We're not there yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
This is the first
Okay.
security guard who's in like the...
Okay.
Yeah.
The sound design for that was really crazy.
Yes. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It's so good. So he comes back, like he's actually dying. He's kind of, you know...
Is this the one in the cell?
No,
Yes.
Okay.
that's no. This is after. No, wait.
This is the first one in the cell. Like the one
Okay,
that...
because the other one, I know what you're talking about.
yes.
The other one is nuts.
So we see where he starts to sink back down and eventually turns to dust.
Okay. And then the dude comes in with the long stick,
Yeah, and pokes it, and then you see it like it collapses.
collapses
and
into
it's just all
itself. It's dust and
Yeah.
ashy.
And then they go to that medical examiner who is also in a cell, and it just explodes into dust.
Awesome.
It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Awesome.
It was
Yeah.
just how they timed that and how they did that, and it was just unreal.
Yes. And then they're like, okay, well, it's almost 2 hours since the blonde
That one happened. Now
died, so she's up on the table. Let's check that out.
So they figure out the
up,
timetable.
right? And they see that she's waking.
I think
up
it's 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I think it's 30 minutes or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, every 2 hours, if they don't feed,
Yes.
they'll like explode into dust.
So the prop or animatronic or whatever that's on the table looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Just by itself without
it's
any movement
awesome.
whatsoever.
Right.
It looks
Yeah.
scary. It looks real. It looks life-size.
It
It looks
had the
correct.
right amount of everything.
Yes.
Like dirt, everything.
And then
Right.
what happened, how...
translucent skin.
Yeah. How it finishes is one of the best we've done
You know,
thus
it's
far.
crazy
Yeah.
when they like blow up from not eating. We actually have that happen in Three Jacks.
It's the opposite, though.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like-
it's not
Someone's
from
like, I
not
really need
eating.
a
It's
burger right
from...
now, and I'm like, well, you're gonna have to wait. You just got here.
20-minute wait, man.
Yeah.
And they're like,
And there's like, yeah, man,
The housekeeping budget here is insane.
it is insane. That's why we have the Rinaldi.
Rinaldi?
yeah.
little
The chicken pot
Roomba
pies?
thing.
Oh, no. Okay.
No, the
different.
the gravy diggers.
The gravy diggers, yeah.
Yeah.
These are all real things.
But over
That's whatever you're talking about for you.
But over in Texas, they found an escape pod from the Churchill, and it lands there, and it's actually Commander Carlson, who we kind of met earlier in the movie, who was the one mesmerized by the space girl vampire.
He was the sole survivor
Yes.
of the
Yes,
what
of
is
the
it?
Churchill.
The church.
The Churchill, yes.
So Carlson meets with Kane, Bufkowski, and Falada, and Carlson fills them in on everything that happened. The crew...
I'd also like to point out that
Yeah.
I don't know if this was a choice or when he comes out of that capsule,
Yeah.
he looks better and healthier than he did at any point before when he was on the plane. Did you notice that, or is that something that I made up in my head? No. Okay, moving on.
no,
I'm gonna go back and look for it.
Yeah, I have
'cause
to go back and like,
When
see
he comes
that
down in the pod and they rescue him and
Yeah.
they pull him out, he looks better and healthier there than he ever did at any point when he was on the plane. Almost like
I wouldn't
he's-
be surprised if they did do that intentionally.
Okay.
Because of,
Yeah.
'cause
I don't know.
I know because knowing who the director is and what he was trying to do,
maybe.
he might have.
Maybe he looked happier because he was getting kisses.
Maybe.
Just something to
I'm
think
always
about.
happier.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way,
Kiss, a
Rory.
little kiss on the cheek once in a while.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. Puts a bounce in your step.
So the crew, Carlson begins to explain that the crew began to die one by one until only he was left. He's the one that started the fire to destroy the ship so it wouldn't get into Earth's orbit, and then he hopped in a pod and tried to escape back to Earth. So Carlson, that night, he has this nightmare and is met in his dream by the space woman, and he's kind of like the Mina of this
Yeah.
story, where he has like that link to
Yeah.
her, and you could see like she kind of has this connection with him, and he has this connection with her. We find out a little bit more about that as
Later on, yeah.
Later on, but yeah, this kind of establishes that she has some kind of like mental connection with Carlson, and so Falada initializes a session of hypnosis, and he is trying to do this on Carlson, and we see she changed form because he's like explaining
I
everything
think
that's happening.
she possessed another woman.
Right. Yeah. So we see that, like she isn't in her,
Her
body,
body.
anymore.
So this is when the movie changes into a different kind of movie.
Right,
Yes.
because now she's on the loose. There is potential plague because they can
Right.
reproduce ish.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so this is like movie 2.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
would have been the sequel.
This is the sequel now. So part 2. And so we see she kind of changed form into this lady, like this redheaded woman, and she's on the prowl, and she's kind of, we see this through the hypnosis and like the connection that Carlson has with the space vampire. And then Kane and Falada establish that the space girl's body must be hidden. And meanwhile, up above, the vampire ship is now approaching Earth. So that thing that they saw in Halley's Comet is now kind of approaching Earth slowly.
As if to be an attack mode or a
Right.
defensive strategy. Yes.
Exactly.
Because it did start to move at the beginning of the movie. It deployed some kind of like
Yeah, like a
apparatus.
yeah,
like an umbrella almost.
kind of apparatus. Yeah,
You think this is where Roland Emmerich got the idea for Independence Day?
yeah. He was like, "Oh, why do you use that?" Yeah, Lifeforce, man.
Only our ships aren't going to be phallic.
But Falada, he gets a visit from one of the male vampires. And I failed to mention this before, but the first time you see them, you can see their contacts, and it's so freaking cool looking because their iris looks like almost like space, but like these weird spirals within them. Did you notice that
Yeah,
too? It was awesome. It looks so cool.
The art direction for this movie was like nutty.
Yeah.
Like, they just let them go ballistic. And then some of it, I think, they let them to do at ILM, not digitally, but like what would be digital back then.
And that's
But
weird
it
because
was-
Canon mysteriously went bankrupt.
I know. Which is
Anything goes.
unfortunate.
I know.
Because if they were putting out movies like this, it's like, damn, like that's unfortunately this
That's
obviously
a
didn't
nice
do
thing
well.
about the 80s when you think about it. They used to take a lot of wild chances with movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
they let
Mike
the
and
directors and creative teams just swing for the fences.
Yeah, they're
and
like-
go for it.
They find like companies like Canon and just be like, here's a real wild concept. And they're like, well, it might make money.
Yeah,
My Stepmom the Alien. Or like,
but
was Dan Aykroyd in that? Yeah, he was in that.
yeah. But the weird thing about this movie too is I didn't check the budget, but imagine like the Marvels or like some Marvel movies
For its
are
day.
all green
For
screen.
its day, yeah.
This looks so much better than some movies that come out today.
It
which
had-
is sad.
Agreed.
Yeah, it
I
had
don't
an
know.
incredible budget. Well, and again, practical
Yeah.
effects. And for those
Yeah.
that don't know, my background is in digital effects, animation, motion graphics, special effects, and practical effects too. And like practical effects should not go anywhere. Like
Yes, agreed.
like compare old RoboCop to new RoboCop, blood squibs. You're not going to replace blood squibs. You're just not. It's not going to look. Digital blood isn't going to look as good as blood squibs.
Uncanny Valley thing.
Yeah,
is just-
yeah. Plus,
Isn't all that cool.
Plus,
Yeah.
when an actor would like to act off of something, there's
Exactly.
presence, there's weight.
Via Wiki, Canon Films, which reportedly spent nearly $25 million in hopes of creating a blockbuster film in Lifeforce. $25 million.
$25
Yeah,
million
for
for
85.
this movie in 1985, and this felt like an epic movie. And I'm
Yeah.
not even exaggerating.
No,
like that third act, I was just like, I've seen movies today that don't look as good as this. Like the chaos and stuff later on we see. I'm like, this
No,
is-
it looks
Hope
great.
You're not implying that these producers are just maybe taking some of this budget and doing other things with it. I mean,
know.
come on, that's
Private jet to
impossible.
Bermuda, maybe.
Yeah.
For
Right.
research.
Paying off people.
They're
yeah.
certainly not buying their third yacht and,
No.
only making a superhero movie because the logo is recognizable for merchandise or anything. It's not like they're telling a story.
Opening weekend, $4.2 million.
That's how much it made.
Opening weekend,
Yeah.
$4.2 million.
I
I wonder.
watched
What did it-
something earlier today, and I guess it
I
was in
wonder
like
if
the top
wonder if
5
they were
when it
nerd.
opened.
Yeah.
I mean, they were
Oh,
shooting.
it was?
Yeah.
They were shooting Bond movies around that time too. I think.
Yeah.
What came out? There was a. No, it was a.
Oh, 85 was a huge year though. Like in terms of film.
There was a Clint
But-
Eastwood movie it went up against when it released.
Yeah.
Lifeforce, and it just.
It did.
It could have knocked it out.
I was watching it was a Leonard Maltin review for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He starts it off. He's like, "Somebody get a license plate number on that movie."
Yeah, I purposefully
I just
didn't.
thought that was so funny.
That's a good.
I purposely didn't want. I didn't want to taint myself. I just wanted to come in like I only watched the documentary and the movie. I was afraid to watch anything else because I didn't want to be like. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
This movie has like you said, layers. Like there's like
Yeah.
you don't know, like you have to pay attention. Well, not have to pay attention, but like it's wild. It is wild. I don't know how to explain it.
It's like a fever dream.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's times you guys you're reading off the plot right now. You're making comments, and in my head,
they're not the same thing.
well, I want to say some stuff, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't even know if I'm remembering this movie
Right.
correctly because it's just so there's
Is it like
so
a
much.
Is it a fever
There is a
dream?
lot.
Yeah, it's
It was
kind
all
of
like
a
a fever
fever
dream.
dream.
We're gaslighting ourselves. It's like a
fever.
Mandela effect. Is it Berenstain Bears? Bernstein Bears? I don't know. Is it Lifeforce? Is it Space Vampires?
I have-
I don't know.
I
I
have
was
um,
hoping for Life Horse,
and-
the
Yeah.
movie about vampiric horses.
Let's see that.
Wouldn't you love to see
For
Life Horse?
$25 million, I would love to see that.
all right,
You'd
one
be
more.
talking about a better movie, honestly.
Right.
One more number and then we'll move on. Cumulative, and it's hard for me to say that word. Cumulative box office list, $11 million. So they made it for 25. It opened at 4.2, and total is 11.6.
Whoops.
So it's
Bomb would be an understatement.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
yeah.
Vince, can you look up
Like-
how much did Life Horse make?
Lifeforce.
How much
Let me
did
see.
Life Horse make?
Is that the
that's a
movie about
movie.
the person that like couldn't speak for the rest of their life, or are we talking about the movie?
No, it
The
was
horse vampire.
It was starring Sarah Jessica Parker.
And Judd Nelson.
Wah, wah. Wait, but Vince, before we move on, can you on your phone right now? Can you just look up on IMDb and just tell me if there is
a
movie called
life
Life
horse. I'm on it, dude.
because I really need to know this.
IMDb.
That could be our next
Don't wait for me.
project.
Yeah.
Why not?
If not, let's make
The
it.
vampiric horse.
Yeah.
As soon as we're done with skin vampires, we can do Life Horse. Life
Anything?
Life
Horse.
horse, not life whores.
Right.
Hey Vince, look up Life Horse.
I knew when I'd say that.
right up.
I knew when
My
I would
whole
say that,
life.
Rory's eyes would just like he'd pick up.
I didn't
There's
even.
absurdity to grab, my friend. I'm
Yes.
going for it.
I didn't even have to type in Life Horse all the way. It popped right up. I don't know how.
Life Horse?
Yeah, Life Horse.
Oh.
No, there's no such thing as Life Horse either.
All right.
See, I just pictured a bunch of like vampiric horses galloping by the moonlight.
Yeah. I just picture like the moon. Yeah.
They only come
And
out
you
at
just see them like almost ET style.
Those cool ass fangs.
And they have
coming
like
out.
these wings,
Yeah.
like bat wings.
Their ears.
Are you doing the
kinda like-
TriStar movie?
Oh, I'm thinking of the TriStar logo. That's what.
That's a unicorn.
you
That's a
imagine-
Pegasus.
Oh, that's a Pegasus.
Like, you-
Oh.
Think of the
Like-
Cambion movie logo.
You can really build up the dread, like the people are walking on the road and then they hear the galloping and they're like, honey, we gotta get home. And then the
Yeah.
horse comes and it bites you on the neck and then you become like a man horse.
You're just like
Move
this-
on before I keep going.
Roy, if you're looking for 5 minutes to edit out, there you go.
Hey, guess what? This is going up front.
Hey, Life Force, here's a carrot. It's not garlic at all, right?
No, it's not. Stupid horse.
So stupid horse falls for it every time.
Maybe be a human vampire next time.
Wait, they get 2 carrots and make it into a cross.
Oh, that's perfect. I'm hungry and I want to eat that, but
It bites it and then it just blows up into flames. Yeah, we just wrote a movie.
that's
Life Horse.
Life Horse, guys.
I'm in
Horse.
2026 on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. They'll sign off on it. So Kane,
They'll make anything.
They'll make anything. So Kane gets word that the girl might be at the Thurlstone Insane Asylum, and he and his buddy heads there, along with Carlson, and they're greeted by the one and only Patrick Stewart.
This is so wild.
And so Patrick Stewart is the one who runs this hospital. And so the two, Carlson and Kane, they find Ellen, who may be the one that's possessed right now by the space vampire.
Do you know that
And-
like that Patrick Stewart apparently was like incredibly expensive to get? Because they're like, I don't think we have the money to get him, and they're like, make it so.
Make it so.
He did say commander in this movie, and I lost my shit.
Yeah,
and I did make a note of that.
Commander.
Commander.
That was a Star Trek joke.
Yeah, I liked it.
Was it?
Yeah, I got it. I got it in there. I wrote that in my notes. I'm like, find a place for it.
So the two, they find Ellen, and Carlson slaps the crap out of Ellen. And
I was gonna say.
Yeah, and tries to force it out of her. And Carlson's like, it's okay. She's sadistic and a masochist, and she likes... she wants me to force it out of her. And Kane's like, what, man? I'll just sit down.
Because a lot of this is in Tom's head. He's got a lot of foreknowledge that the other characters do not have.
Right. Carlson is like, I could see this and I know this. And Kane's just like... And he just is like, all right. And then he just sits down, crosses his legs.
And lets it happen.
And then meanwhile, the director of the insane asylum is just like... What are we doing now?
What's happening here? So then we find out, Patrick Stewart. They're like, okay, it transferred to another patient. So Patrick Stewart leads them to this patient that they described, but Carlson knocks out Patrick Stewart, knowing he's actually the real host. And while P. Stu is under, Carlson tries to find out where she might be.
P. Stu?
P. Stu, Patrick Stewart.
No, thank you.
Patrick
Go ahead.
Stewart, money.
Did Patrick Stewart start screaming yet?
Not yet. Oh, this is like the part where they're trying to find out where she might be, and she begins to talk, and Carlson begs for her to let him go. He's like, let him go, let him go, let him go, let him go, let him go. And he goes on for at least like a minute to 2 minutes.
They're both really good in this scene. I mean, like,
but
here's
the thing about Carlson. Steve Railsback, who plays Carlson, he is like phenomenal in this movie. I think this is like his best role.
I also, who wrote this? Because I think the dialogue is not
Dan O'Bannon.
Not cheesy at all.
No.
It's perfect pitch and everything is great in it.
It's awesome.
It's very good move the plot along dialogue.
yeah.
Not too fancy.
And I feel as though this movie is 2 hours long. I do feel like it's compact.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does move the story quite quickly, I thought.
Yeah.
And that piece too, man. He's gonna make it. I think that guy can act.
Yeah, he's good.
Might have a future.
Stewart money. So Kane and Carlson, they get a call from Falada, and this is so badass. This part, so they're in the helicopter. They're transferring Patrick Stewart, who's kind of in possession still, and Falada does not around at all.
No.
He actually slayed one of the male vampires with some cold iron.
A sword they got from the spaceship. Why was it there?
Yeah, so he's like, we just see like it pans out, and he's like, yeah, I killed one with some cold iron, and it kind of like pans out, and you see the vampire just on the desk, like laying there dead with this giant sword in its chest, and I'm like not exaggerating when I say a giant sword just in his chest.
We never see that, right?
We don't see it.
I feel like
but
that's
it's such a badass scene that you're like, oh, I kind of wish we saw it.
Well,
but I kind of like that reveal though. I feel
like that was probably in the script, and they were just like, we don't have any more money left.
They were looking for things to cut, and I don't know in what order they shot, but they were desperately trying to cut things because he kept going.
They were just like, well, that cool sequence where the guy gets stabbed? It's out.
Yeah, it's out. But they're like, we'll cut it, but we'll still show it. And I thought it was effective still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that reveal of him just being this off-screen badass, you're like, yeah, all right, Falada.
Are you okay? Oh, yeah, I killed one. You what? You killed one.
Yeah. And then he kind of reveals that, like, the legend of vampires may derive from these space vampires, which is kind of like how
ancient
they talk
alien
about
beings. Yes.
Yeah. Kind of like Return of the Living Dead, they do the same thing where, hey, you know that story about the living dead?
Night of the Living Dead.
That might be a true story, So we have something. Yeah. And what's his name again?
Tom Matthews.
Tom Matthews. I love his accent. I don't know what it.
Yeah,
he just talks like in such a weird.
In the 6th Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
There's a part where he says he's supposed to say, "Pass me or hand me the padlock." And he's like, "Hand me the padlock."
Hand me the padlock.
Like what was that? What was that string of sounds?
Oh man. But yeah, he's just so. I love him.
Bring him
Tom
back.
Yeah, bring him back.
Yeah,
He's not in this movie at all, but
But
bring
yeah,
back
no,
Tom
I
back.
don't
Bring
know
him back
why we
anyway.
brought
Bring
it
back
up,
Tom
but
Matthews.
yeah,
He might have been. They cut a lot out of this movie.
Yeah, who
Maybe he
knows?
was the guy that killed him with the sword.
right. But we
Wait. Let's bring back Tom Matthews to be the one to ride Space Horse.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, we're not done with Space Horse.
Yeah,
I hope he's a Vale.
and we should name one of the space horses. Could be called Padlock.
Paddock!
Padlock.
Give me Paddock!
So, all of a sudden, blood spills out of the mouth of Patrick Stewart, and this other body, like the one friend of Kane's, and we just see all this blood spilling into the air. I'm like, this movie was made in the 80s? How the hell did they pull that off?
It was,
you know what I mean?
It was a bust with like some plastic film, and then the blood that they had shooting out, they actually spilled and ran in reverse. So like it was crazy
Holy
what they did.
shit, man!
got some
I was
insight
just
here.
like, that is like what they did for that scene. Looks way better than stuff we
I
like
chalked it up to
today.
sorcery.
Well, like
Yeah.
the energy effects that you see, like if people at home, I mean, like you see, there's all these animated energy effects to simulate life force and electricity and energy currents. They actually, what they did was they scratched the acetate off the film frame by frame.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and it was like they took the time to do that.
Yeah.
For this frame by frame, animate by scratching the film.
So
That's
authentic.
So awesome. And, yeah, and then we see where Patrick Stewart's blood and the blood of Kane's buddy form the girl. It's like a blood form, and it looks so cool.
Looks so cool.
It was
Practical
like
effects,
amazing.
yeah, it was a bust.
Yeah. And Carlson then he's like, okay, he reveals he was the one who opened her case, destroyed the tapes and the equipment, and
But with his knowledge or without his knowledge? Was he like being controlled or
It was both. Like
Yeah,
he's
she
beguiled because like they visited Earth before that he reveals,
Yeah.
and he says they ask him like, do you want her? And he's like, yes. He hates
She's
it.
like,
He's like,
yeah.
I hate this. I don't want to want her. I don't want to be with her. But he said it's like the most powerful feeling he's ever felt.
he doesn't understand
Yeah.
why he does, but he does.
Yeah, and he hates the fact that he does, and that comes across in his performance too. Like
Yeah,
it's
he was
nutty.
Good. He was great.
even when he wakes up from the nightmare, he's all covered in
Yeah.
sweat. He's like,
It was a dream. It was
Yeah.
a dream.
Isn't that all of our relationship with bacon?
Go on.
You know what I mean? No, that's
Yeah,
it.
no, I feel you.
There's not much more I can do.
Just wake up sweating, thinking about bacon.
Yeah, but like you don't want it. But
you want
it's
it.
bad for you, but you just still go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that.
it was a dream. A dream. And so Carlson reveals, yeah, he's the one that pretty much caused the sabotage of the ship and stuff. And
I keep wanting to call it the Cleveland, but it's not the Cleveland.
No.
What
The
is it
Churchill.
called? The Churchill.
Churchill.
Okay.
and she
Why
took
am I doing that?
what the
Oh,
Cleveland?
Maybe Grover Cleveland and Winston Churchill. I don't know.
Yeah,
It might have something to do with all those gummies that you took
or
before
Cleveland
the show
from
started.
Family Guy. Oh, I don't know, Peter.
Vampires over here.
They
never
named a
gonna
ship
catch
after me. Hey, Loretta, they named a ship after me. So Carlson reveals all this information, and she actually took some of his energy, and he took some of hers. Like they had like this transference of energy, and that's why there's this connection.
Quid pro quo.
And she's
Yeah.
not complete. She wants to be complete, but she also
Right.
wants him.
She wants him back to complete.
she
the
needs
whole,
him.
Yeah.
Right. She actually needs him.
Yes.
To complete this whole like
Metamorphosis.
takeover.
Did
Yeah.
anybody else think it was weird that she's trying to form this?
Yes, I
intimate-
thought all of this was weird, but
Okay,
go on.
but that sensation though, like, does it burn? Do you have a burning sensation? Yeah. Like, do you? We'll compare notes later.
Well,
So,
it only burns when I pee.
is it supposed to though?
I don't know.
Well, all right. We'll call it. We'll call somebody. So, but she is trying to form this intimate connection with him, but she keeps calling him Carlson
Yeah.
and not Tom. I know that's like a weird nit, but like she's in his mind. Like, why don't you, Tom?
Yeah.
I don't know. Right?
Because
Yeah.
most people refer to him as Carlson.
I guess.
Maybe. I don't know.
But we don't know. I mean, we see the other like humans call him Carlson. They don't know him.
Right.
But like, I feel like if anybody knows him the best in this movie, It's her.
Maybe she
Yeah.
knows he prefers to be called Carlson.
Maybe. Well,
Do you
she
think it
did-
would have been better if they had like a little pet name for him?
Maybe his dad's
Who's
name
my
is
little
Tom,
space
but he was
horse?
abusive.
Who's my little Churchill guy? It's me.
my little apple scrapple baby boy.
Yeah. So
Callbacks.
Full circle.
So they hear while they're in the helicopter, they hear over the radio a live news broadcast, like literally the news, not like the military or anything, that London has fallen, like completely in utter chaos.
The entire
Now we are into our third movie.
Yeah, because this is
Yeah.
like a ridiculous zombie movie now.
Right.
Now the streets
Yeah.
are overrun and it's complete and utter.
Plague of
This
vampires.
is my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
This
awesome.
is the point where I kind of jolted a little bit, where I'm like, oh, like
Well,
what
there
the
was
fuck is this?
so much urgency. It
Yeah.
was just. Yeah.
So in London,
the
it's
entire city
complete
has fallen, not just the
chaos.
bridge.
Yeah, and Carlson reveals, he's like, her body's back in London. I know now.
It's in a chapel.
It's in a chapel. It's in like a church.
He senses
And
it.
He senses this, and so they hear that a plague of vampires is pretty much running rampant all over across London, and so Kane and Carlson, they try to meet up with the Prime Minister, and which this part is like amazing because it feels like kind of like a Dawn of the Dead moment.
Because there's military camps. There's
Right.
it's like martial law, and there's all these camps that there's
Like
you
a
have to go through
quarantine zone
checkpoints and
stuff.
everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But the helicopter lands in London to visit with the Prime Minister, and they go into the office, and the Prime Minister, he's all sweaty, and he calls his secretary. He's like, "Oh, excuse me, gentlemen, I just have to talk to my secretary really fast." And Kane and Carlson they peek into like him talking to her, and he starts to like suck out her life force, and they're like, "Well, let's go." And
that was a Naked Gun moment because it was
Yeah.
like, all right,
yeah, and they just take off. They don't like
Tell
everyone get out of
anybody.
here or anything. They're just like,
They don't warn
"Let's go."
anyone, but
They don't warn
flying.
anyone. They just like take off, and then as they're taking
We're just
off,
gonna reject this
right?
yeah.
altogether.
And so
You didn't see anything.
We've
right?
seen too much today.
they reach the helicopter to escape, and we see like a couple of space vampires are like military now, running after the thing, and they're like kicking them off. And
Did you say this movie was called Space Vampires?
The book was called Space
They
Vampires.
should have stuck with that.
Okay,
title.
well, they did talk about that in there was a divide in the crew for this because some of them wanted to call it Space Vampires because the book had a cult following. Some wanted to call it Lifeforce because it sounded more theatrical. It kind of because if you didn't read the book,
Lifeforce sounds way cooler than
Right.
Life Vamp.
No, Space Vampire sounds so
Right.
much cooler.
I don't know about that.
I'm
Lean into the schlock.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm split dead in the middle.
Agree to disagree.
Let's
I feel
all
like,
end friendships right now. Which side are you on, EJ?
Lifeforce.
why do I go first?
Yeah, go.
I'll go first. I'm
are you?
proud of it. Lifeforce. That's way better
Because
than
you
Space
don't
Vampires.
remember how long we were friends for. That's why.
Oh man, no, Life. I think there is something more theatrical to Life Force. If you did name it Space Vampires, I think it's an automatic like, oh, that sounds like a B movie. I don't know if
but
I
here's
I
the
will
see
say,
it.
Life Force is incredibly bland.
Yeah.
I feel like part of the reason I may not have seen it as a child is because I hear the name Life Force, and it doesn't really let me
Register.
know anything.
Right,
right.
and I
Yeah.
think.
So fuck both, all of you.
Oh, wait.
Well, I didn't disagree with you,
Go ahead.
Rory. Have
I
you?
don't like fuck both, all of you.
All y'all. Here's what I would say. Lifeforce, I think, is a cooler name, but I think they would have been more successful. They would have made more money had they called it Space Vampires. More people would have went to see it, I think.
Right. And I think I look at the name through a filter of this decade as opposed to last decade. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was last decade, the 80s. Like, 80s.
Yeah, that was last decade.
Yeah, for me.
All
I'm
of
always
us.
there. Yeah, like Space Vampires would have been cooler then. I don't know.
I just
keep
feel like
changing my
there's
mind.
like titles that you can use that you're like I know what you're saying. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's more theatrical,
Right.
but it's also incredibly bland.
Yes.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, you see Lifeforce, okay, you move past it. You see Space Vampires,
What
you're
is-
immediately...
That's with you for the rest of your life.
I might
That's
have to
the
check
point.
that out.
Because when I read the synopsis for it, I'm like, Lifeforce, vampires from space. Oh, okay, space vampires. And that made me read the whole Imgur
Imgur.
post.
It's sort of like when you get like a title like Return of the Living Dead,
Yeah.
You're like, I know what this is.
Right.
Yeah.
Space vampires, I know,
know
what
what
it
this is.
Lifeforce could be anything. It certainly doesn't.
It could be
It doesn't
photosynthesis.
necessarily have to be a science fiction horror
I'm
film.
changing my opinion. I'm coming around.
Welcome to my side.
Last voyage of the Churchill.
Last voyage of the Space Horse.
Yeah. So I like that. But yeah, so Carlson, they land in this quarantine zone, and Carlson, tells, he's like, the girl, she's calling to me. She wants me. She wants my force back and her force back. So Kane rushes off back to London, because Carlson takes off on his own at this point, and Kane finds out, and he's just like, okay.
He almost like, I know what I have to do. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna you're either with me or you're against me. So don't get in my way because I'm doing this thing.
Right. And then Kane, he rushes off like back to London, and through this madness, Carlson already left on his own and stuff. But we see, Kane is just like driving through downtown London.
There's so many explosions.
And there's like explosions and
So
people
many.
attacking each other left and right.
The barrel of fire.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Always.
Yeah.
A young Michael Bay was leaning forward in his seat watching
On
this
the edge of
movie.
his seat.
He's
I'm
like,
gonna do this.
I'm gonna do this,
but worse.
That was wonderful.
So we see where Carlson finds the church where the space girl vampire lays, and we see like this mass of dead souls on the church like stairs.
Yes.
And I was like, that is such a cool.
It's
like,
very
visual.
impactful.
Yeah.
And then even when he goes inside, it's like a mass, but it's all like the dead bodies
Yeah.
are like all over the place.
What I didn't like though was the clear path for him to walk
Yeah.
up. Like that's not.
Yeah.
Can we
true.
die
They died
in an orderly
considerately.
The protagonist has to get here.
died in an orderly manner?
Just gonna.
Marv, that's a tripping hazard. Die over there.
It's like a Monty Python bit.
Just move over there.
Bad
over
enough
there.
it happened to you. You don't have to cause somebody else's death.
So, Kane, he actually goes for Falada first, but Falada has now turned. Like, he's actually one of the infected by the plague of vampire.
And it's a little ambiguous how he, I guess, through the tussle, because they tussled.
Yeah, they tussled a little bit.
There's
Tussling.
some tussling.
And then we see where Kane kills the vamped out Falada.
Here I go.
As he's about to leave, Kane draws a sword from the deceased male vampire. And I was like, at this point, well, from the beginning I loved Kane, but at this point I'm like,
Now he's a
Kane
badass.
is my favorite character. He's just so cool. I don't know.
Corpse explodes. The wound, there's like energy current shooting out of it when he draws the sword out of it. And I don't, and it's, they explain like the spaceship is a receptacle. The female sends the male out to get life force. They send it back up to the colony and the ship.
Yeah.
I guess. It's never really explained. It's kind of explained, but again, they cut that probably
Yeah.
from the movie.
I wonder why.
Meanwhile, Carlson finds the female vampire, and they kind of like take their clothes off and they just start making out.
I have that, naked for no reason.
Right. They're just like full on having a makeout session.
Absolute mayhem.
That's
Meanwhile-
that producer walking in with
Yeah.
a cigar.
Meanwhile, Kane is rushing across London through this storm of like zombie citizens, fighting his way through, finally getting to the church where he finds the other male vampire has shown up now. And
Family reunion.
he vanquishes that motherfucker
Yeah.
with the sword. And it was so awesome because he's like, I will come to you after. He's like, I'll come to you right now. And then he just like drives his sword right
And
into
the
him.
dude full on transforms into like the actual creature, what it is. And I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that was a full scale animatronic too.
Yeah, it's like a giant bat-like thing.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
It looks so cool. And then Kane finds Carlson. He like runs towards the middle and he sees him down there and they're making out. And he throws down the sword to Carlson, and Carlson sacrifices himself, killing him, or like killing her and him by stabbing them both with the blade.
He impales her through the back, and it
Yeah.
goes through her and out through
Into
him.
his chest,
And
yeah.
they did that with flesh gel and skin and red jelly inside it, and
Yeah.
they heated up the blade. And so when they ran the prosthetic through, it would actually melt the jello and it would come out through the back.
That's so
That's
awesome.
sick. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So we see this happen, and they both die, and we see where the ship, all the souls start to like flicker out.
Do they though?
Yeah, it's like it's kind of vague if
They
they
both like beam up to the thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, "You were one of us. You always have been." It's like, wait, what? When was that a thing?
That was
Yeah.
another page that didn't get shot.
Yeah, and then like the spaceship just like fucks off.
Well,
Yeah.
you always want to leave room for a sequel.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
that's why
Well-
in this movie, what I thought was really cool is that everything happens, it quiets down, and then you hear galloping,
Yeah.
and then the little screen comes up that says, "Next year, Space Force."
Stable of retribution.
Stable of Retribution. That's so good.
So good.
Space Horse.
Space Horse.
Like, I'm telling you, we should
Summer.
merchandise.
Yeah. Let's do it. At least a shirt. Let's have a Space Horse shirt.
I'm gonna go home
Ready.
and draw that.
Will you?
Yeah.
I will.
I will. I'll put it on the FREAKQUELS thing.
Yeah, 'cause
whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, we're gonna do T-shirts. I think. I don't know if did you send like the thing up again or no?
What's
or
that?
Should we talk about it on air? or
We
not
could
yet?
talk about anything you want on air.
We'll talk about
so-
this part after.
I have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
spoil that. What?
What?
I
What?
said what?
No, but we're hoping to sell T-shirts and stuff through T Public.
One of the
Yeah.
one of those places
Yeah.
where we don't have to front any money and people could buy stuff and we earn money. One of those
Yeah.
places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the plan.
No more prostituting for me.
But
No
yeah.
more late nights and sore job for Rory.
No.
So with that
Moving
being
on up.
said,
We'll talk after this about merchandising, not about, late night shenanigans. Unless you want to talk about late night shenanigans.
I'd like to talk about it on air.
absolutely. With that being said, this movie was amazing. I actually loved it
Agreed.
a lot, and I can't believe it took me this long to watch it because I feel like this movie has a little bit of everything, and it's kind of campy and weird and stuff. But honestly, it's probably the best modern day adaptation of Dracula.
The
right? Like, it's
campiness
so
kind of
weird.
serves it in a weird way.
Yeah.
And, the only thing for me that would have made this movie better was watching it with a group of people, like a group of friends.
Yeah.
Because, I felt like there's so much to notice. I went back and watched it again, and I'm still picking, little things out. And then I look, and there's nobody to talk to about it.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, this is like, I was watching this in real time. I'm feverishly texting him, "Did you see this yet?" I was like a maniac. I was unhinged. But it was so much fun. I watched this movie.
Yes.
It is so much. It is a good time.
Agreed.
Is it,
if you haven't seen this, definitely go watch this. This is worth a watch.
Yes.
is it
absolutely.
high cinema? Is it film? No, but I mean, it's fun. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
it is.
Yeah.
It's ambitious.
Is it?
Yes.
is-
It's like it's in one of those instances where, under better circumstances,
Yeah.
they could have made a little bit of, not necessarily something that's akin to Star Wars, not that level of success, but they could have made a pretty solid film
Well,
under
it
different
was
circumstances.
shooting around the same studio in the same time. Well, the thing with this movie is, when I say not, I mean, the director wanted to do so much with this movie, and he allegedly, and I say allegedly because I don't know, because this is what they said, some of his colleagues said, drugs, but also he was mainlining caffeine and cigars throughout the entire production of the thing, and he just kept adding ideas and
That
adding
doesn't seem
ideas.
that bad.
Yeah. yeah.
Really?
Yeah, right. But
Coffee and cigars?
Dr. Peppers.
And
'Cause
Dr. Peppers.
It was Dr. Pepper.
Well, that's different.
Because they were they made a joke, half the film's budget was when his one hand would get empty, the other hand would get full again. Because he'd drink a Dr. Pepper and smoke a cigar, and he'd always have his hands full of
That kinda
cigars.
guy.
and Dr. Peppers.
He needed to be pacified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was he just, I don't want to say he was crushed by his own brilliance, but he was very an interesting cat. He had a lot of interesting ways to do things. He had a lot of interesting ideas, and it just, I don't know. I just think things didn't line up. Not that it was bad, it just didn't line up for
I
him.
would say this. I think what would have really helped him is if like they had the foresight to say that this was going to be like one movie would have been successful,
Right.
and then I think they should have spaced it out over potentially 2 or maybe even
Right.
3 movies, because it just felt like a lot in a very small amount
Right.
of time. And
Right.
I think it would have made like a really cool trilogy.
Yeah.
If we're gonna give you 25 million for 2, and if you guys are successful, we'll give you more money for a third.
And then
Yeah.
I think some of these ideas really could have been fleshed out, because it is wildly interesting.
Because even
It does feel like a fever dream.
Because even back then, like, I don't know, I'm having a hard time trying to think of something where, from the 80s, where they said, oh, these legends were inspired by this ancient thing, but this ancient thing was actually not necessarily cosmic horror, but an entity from space.
Right.
Right? And there's something I'm forgetting. There's got to be one. But, like, yeah, I feel like it could have been 2 movies. But like I agree with you, Rory. It's unfortunate that it's not more popular, because
I
it is
agree.
fun.
It should be more popular.
It is very fun.
It should be
It's
more
starting
mainstream.
to pop now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been noticing, like, periodically, even before you suggested this,
Yeah.
videos will pop up and
Right.
say, what happened with Lifeforce?
Yeah, I
This-
noticed that, too.
This underrated gym. And
The-
And it had nothing to do with me picking it. This
I
is
know
just
the
coincidental.
the Patrick Stewart thing is a meme now. The Patrick Stewart scene, that's a
when
meme
he's
that I've seen. Yeah.
like spitting out the blood.
Something like that, yeah. But I remember from this movie because I was like, oh, that's where that's from.
Okay.
But I almost feel like the producer couldn't get out of his own way.
Yeah.
Because while this was so good, it could have been better over two, like you're saying, like over 2 movies.
Well-
It's just too much, too fast.
Well, yeah,
But it
with-
was still. But it's weird because it was still done well.
You want a nice comparison? I would say
Spit.
the
Talk to me.
David Lynch Dune.
Right. Oh.
It's
Yeah.
like trying to like
Yeah.
smash that all
Yeah.
into one movie, and you're
Yeah.
like, whoa, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree, because I love David Lynch's Dune.
And then Patrick
But
Stewart.
Wait, do you guys want
Yeah.
to talk about the new Dune?
and that's a
Oh, God.
but that's another Patrick Stewart movie.
Yeah.
David Lynch's Dune.
not
Yeah.
But yeah, like he couldn't get out of his own way. Like when they were filming the helicopter scenes, they crammed all the actors into a live helicopter, and he was over the radio yelling to the pilot, "Get closer to the tower, get closer to the tower!" And the pilot's like, he's gotta like stop talking. We're gonna go down. We're all gonna go down together, because they were like literally he wanted to do all these crazy things, and like they would harness them, like all the harnesses. They put them in those harnesses, and then they would shooting like takes forever to get in the harness. They'd leave them up. They go for tea and leave them up there. And I don't know if it was the guy who was Carlson. He looked in the harness, and it was Christopher Reeve's harness from one of the Superman films.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, that's nice." He was like, "That's kind of comforting, because now I have to pee and I'm stuck up here
Right. Yeah.
until they come
He's
back."
like, well, if Superman could do it, I could do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I honestly, I love this movie. There isn't really anything I would change, because I did like it all. I don't know. I know, like you guys said, it probably would benefit to be a couple movies, but there's something about it that I was like,
And we have the benefit
I
of
like this.
hindsight.
That
Yeah.
is the problem, though, is that
Yeah.
like if they did span it out a few movies, it
We-
wouldn't be what it is.
And we wouldn't be
Right.
talking
it's an
about
anomaly
Yeah.
of neatness.
And it's cool because they shoot in the moors a little bit, which
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
immediately was like, oh, I
Dark
love-
place.
Yeah, that, and then also like An American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Love that movie. So whenever I see, I was just watching the movie the other day. Oh, it was Bob Marley, the new one.
I didn't see that.
And they're hanging out in like near Piccadilly Square or Circle, I think, and you see the giant lion statue. And I'm like, oh, that's the part where David goes and he calls his sister, and I was like, and you see it in the background. But anytime they show London, I'm always like, oh yeah,
movie.
yeah. I always think of An American Werewolf. Anyways, with that being said, what are your emojis? We like to give emojis for this movie. What kind of emojis would you guys give? Vince, do you want to start us off?
I will go first if you want. Hold on, once I find it.
Oh, maybe I should.
I'll go just because
You
no
go
one
ahead
else is
because no
ready.
one else. I don't have my thing up
Okay,
yet.
I got a vampire.
Yes.
I got a rocket ship.
Yes.
I got A Man Shrugging because it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Then I got a horse.
God damn it.
Damn it.
I got
Do you have the galaxy?
2 carrots that will be turned into a cross to defeat the space horse
That's cool.
in this forthcoming movie. Hey, everybody listening at home, if you would like to see Space Horse, let us know.
Back our Patreon.
Let us know. We will write Space
we will,
Horse.
We will make that movie happen.
I know a horse who wants to get into show business.
And we know animal actors. Okay?
We do.
Yes.
They love us.
I got.
We're always giving
I
shout-outs.
support all working animals.
Me too.
For people, I'd like more abusive conditions, but animals,
Not so much.
not so much.
Not so
What about
much.
you, Vince?
I
You look
have.
ready.
I have an asteroid. I have a bat. I have an explosion because I like the body exploding. That was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I have a thumbs up, and then I have a galaxy and a seahorse, space seahorse.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Thank
me.
you for acknowledging Space Horse.
I have a comet. I have a blood drop. A rocket ship. And a little guy doing this, screaming with the hands. The Home Alone screamy.
There you
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it looks like their face is getting sucked out, right? Yeah.
That's Capri Sun. I have a Capri
Yeah,
Sun.
Capri Sun.
go. What about you, asshole?
I have a rocket ship.
Yeah, talk, dum
A
dum.
giant bat and a sword, because they were my favorite.
That fucking
parts.
That's pretty
sword,
cool,
man.
you bastard.
I really like the sword.
Yeah,
I was actually a big fan of the sword.
I like the sword.
Yeah, me too. But Carmen, is there anything you would like to plug? Your Facebook or Twitter or projects?
Nothing I can plug at the moment. No. I wish I no, nothing I can really talk about at the moment. But I'm glad to be here. I had a lot of fun. I was looking forward to this since January.
Yes.
We enjoyed having you, dude.
Not all the way back in February.
All the way back.
All the way back in yesterday. All the way back in 3 days, 3 weeks ago.
Right
2
now.
weeks ago, right now.
So February.
This felt, I'm not gonna lie, this felt like 3 days, this podcast. No, it was fun.
It was one of our worst.
You shouldn't have had me on then.
No, you were wonderful, by
No,
the way.
you're
No, you were good. I enjoyed you. You'd spoken to the microphone. You were very intuitive about the movie. I enjoyed it. And you fit right in. So, yeah, we'll have you
Yay.
back. Definitely.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hey.
I'm going to plug 2 things. First one is 3 Jack's Burger Bar because, I don't know, their food is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, this will have already aired, so I don't care. I'm going to spill the beans. Chef is doing something special for Leap Day tomorrow. He's doing bone-in ribs, cornbread, and a very special coleslaw. It's like a cowboy candy coleslaw with candied jalapenos in it. It's going to be
Dude, that sounds
ridiculous.
amazing.
Yeah.
John Reckless, making dreams happen.
The Burger Master,
The Burger Master.
our Dr. Pretorius.
You asked for a miracle, but you got John Reckless, baby.
Also want to plug Gravy Diggers, which is our local pot pie company.
Do that.
And then finally, I hate this, but I'm going to do it anyway. We have a friend of the pod. His name is Walter. He has a TikTok page, and I hate TikTok, but I'm going to plug it because I watched a bunch of them yesterday, and he's pretty funny.
I love Walter.
Everybody loves
Plug
Walter.
away.
So his TikTok, is it a handle? I don't know. It's O Walter. So it's OHHHHWALTER. So that's the letter O, 4 H's, Walter, and that's his TikTok handle. So check him out. He's got some funny stuff on there. I
And
wanted to
a
plug
friend
him.
of the show. He was on episode.
Oh my God,
of
yes.
Halloween
Halloween
Ends.
Ends.
We've
Yeah.
all tried to forget that episode.
I don't.
No,
love
Rory had
that
to.
episode.
No one has to forget it like Rory did. Rory had to edit that, which got me.
Rory killed me on that episode because every time like something would happen, he would go hard edits, and it would
I think
crush
that's
me.
that
It
was
would
that
just-
wasn't the beginning of hard edit, but that's when we
That
began
was
to
the-
abuse it.
That was the beginning.
Was it the beginning?
That's where it
Yeah,
came from.
and
Hard
that
edit.
killed me. I was so good.
We have fun here.
We have a good time.
We have a good time. Any
like-
place you work where they say we have fun or we have a good time, you're not going to have a good time.
Lots of abuse.
So much.
I'd like to, real quick, do a shout out for kitties of NEPA Pet Rescue. I bring them up
Yes.
all the time because they do the best kind of work. It's cat related work. They go in, they save, they rehabilitate, and they make it so that I, myself, can have a wonderful cat named Ella, and I can take my Ella stories and bring them to you, the worst fans on the planet. I would like to also plug Raven View Productions on the Facebook and the YouTube.
Yes.
Fourth Cut Productions on the YouTube. Also, Fourth Cut Reviews. That's our buddy Chris Conforti writes up some stuff about movies
on Facebook and stuff.
Movie Mania on
Movie
Facebook.
Mania.
All of our
Now
friends.
it's different. now. It's
NEPA.
NEPA Movie Mania.
NEPA Movie Mania.
Run by friend of the show Joe Petito.
Yep.
And Mike Vinci.
Yes.
I don't know.
I said Vinci.
Vinci.
Yeah. But he said it's
Mike Vinci. But yeah, NEPA Movie Mania is a good time.
Yes.
They will keep you updated on what's going on in the industry.
Yeah. Like today, they dropped some crow pictures. And
Just embarrassing. But,
did you guys see it?
No.
Did you see it? You saw it, right?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
You can't unsee it.
Yeah, he looks like Jared Leto's the Joker.
Oh, okay, wait, no, my brain just like, yeah, somebody's on Twitter was like,
You repressed it.
yeah, I did. Somebody better like, don't tell Florida Joker what just released because it looks so
Florida Joker.
like I don't man, like I don't know. An artist, a concept artist didn't do that. There had to be some dude in a suit that was
Yeah.
like, give him like
face tattoos.
make
and,
him a meth addict.
Did you ever
make
see
him
the
look like
Crow?
Ninja.
Yeah,
So like
it's
all
like
the-
it's
all-
Goth RoboCop.
Well, I would not say that, but all the romance of that character completely just stripped in one image where you look at it and you're like, I wouldn't root for that guy.
Yeah, like I don't like to judge things without seeing like, but like
Yeah, I
this-
know. I'm the same
This was
way.
like, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying like, I just was like, I looked at it and I'm like,
Ew.
like I felt like I wanted to brush my teeth.
But yeah, that's a thing. Like I always found it stupid that they wanted to remake that movie because
Yeah.
it's so specific to Brandon Lee.
And
it's one, and honestly, not even just saying this. Brandon Lee, since I was a child, that's one of my all-time
Yeah.
favorite performances
Yeah.
in anything. It's such a beautiful performance, and I was like, man, if you're gonna like remake it, do something spectacular. And they did not get my memo.
I would almost rather them
You weren't in on the pitch.
I was. They had me on speed dial. I didn't pick up the one time, and that's what happened.
I would almost rather see them do something in universe, but not.
Not
But even then, like I don't know. Like,
What
I
else
don't
do
know.
you need to say? We know what it is.
Yeah, just for a quick description, he has like a mullet, like kind of thing going on.
Which is just awesome, right? Everyone listening at home?
He's wearing like a weird motorcycle sports jacket.
A duster.
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't look like a guy that fights the alligators down at Clyde Billings.
Yeah, he looks like he would be on an episode of Cops.
No, he looks like he stumbled out of a Kid Rock concert.
Yeah. He looks like Ninja from that one Chappie movie. I don't know if you remember it.
I do.
Yeah. Remember the one guy, he's like, oh, yeah, and
He's
he
like
has,
the human version of hepatitis. Is what
Yeah.
Which is such a shame because that actor was it Bill Skarsgård?
Yeah,
Like he's a terrific actor.
I know.
Did you see John Wick 4, Chapter 4?
No, I
So
have
like
to see. I'm so behind.
he's the baddie in that movie, and he's fantastic. He's a fantastic villain. I like him a lot as an actor. Didn't love him as Pennywise, but I really, really like him as an actor. And then I look at that photo of him, and I'm like,
what
God.
did they do to my Billy?
happened.
it's
Yeah.
just like, you know, like you went to high school with somebody, you haven't seen them in 20 years, and then you see them on Facebook, and you're like, oh, he didn't age well.
And
That's
they're-
what that photo looked like.
And they're
to me.
selling like crypto and vitamins, like a pyramid scheme. Join my
So it's always
Hey, bud,
sunny.
yeah,
The
it's-
berries.
Yes.
join my company.
Invigoron.
I started a
Invigoron.
company, guys.
The
I started a
Invigoron.
company. You mean a pyramid scheme? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a funnel system. No, turn the funnel upside down. Oh,
What
it's a
if that's
pyramid.
what the new Crow's about?
Yeah, it's a
Pyramid schemes.
Pyramid
He
scheme.
doesn't kill anybody. He just cripples them financially.
Yeah.
The crow makes a buck. Do 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 do.
See, if I get other people dressing up as the Crow under me, I'll be making money in my PJs. What? So anyways. Yeah, I would like
Anyway.
Join our murder.
Yeah. Join
murder.
Oh, that's good.
I'm
That's
the
good.
Raven, and you're all like my.
Part of my murder.
You're part of
my
my
murder.
My murder.
Yeah.
The Murder of Crows.
Yeah.
You ever see that movie? It's pretty good. Anyway. Oh, wait. One last thing. One last plug. Variant Season. Our buddy Will Perna. It's his band. Listen to their music.
Yes.
Punchy. It's cool. It rocks.
Yes. And really quick, I would like to plug Adam Farley's music. He has a show coming up March 15th at Cheap Shots in Alvin, PA.
Check it out.
Check it out. Also, you can check out his music on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Also, Jon Snow, friend of the show, you could follow on Facebook, the Eastern Tribute Collective, and they'll let you know all the shows they have coming up. But specifically, they have a show March 23rd at the Moon Ballroom in Dixon City.
I was going to go, but I heard Elle's going to be there, so I'm not going to attend.
Good call.
I have problems with her.
Another friend of the show, Casey Clocker, check out his Twitch stream called Brain Rap, BrainWrap.
Check out his page, but also check out the last episode, which he was on, which was fantastic.
Oh, so
Check him
good.
out. Really good.
So
Here's
funny.
a fun fact about Casey Clocker. You cannot get enough Casey Clocker, so follow his Twitch.
Yes.
Do you guys want to know how many times I've used his speed reference this week? That's
Once.
a nice... No.
Just
Once here,
time.
but at home,
Moments ago.
so many times. So many times. It's a good speed to have.
That's a good speed to have. So
I wasn't even
Freakquels.
there, and I love it.
So Freakquels, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Make sure to rate and review us on Apple or Spotify.
Give us 5 stars, even if you don't
5
like
stars
it.
only.
Yeah.
And email us at frequelpodcast@gmail.com. We'll read those emails on here. I think the next episode we'll probably read
Get to
those.
some emails? Cool.
And also,
Yeah.
if you do rate and review us, like literally write a review on Applecast, we'll read those too. So-
Also do something else. If we start building up our followers, I'll post a picture of Ella sleeping on her banana.
oh, all right.
My cat Ella has a bed. It's a little banana, and she sleeps in it. And it'll change your
adorable.
life just to see it.
It's adorable.
So if you go on to our Freakquels, Apple, Spotify, whatever, just follow us, leave us some reviews. All that crap EJ just said.
Yeah, all that crap I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
But
guys should
guys-
also rate and review us on our Spotify and our Apple iTunes and leave a comment, maybe.
Yeah, leave a comment. Do it.
Make a YouTube channel just for Freakquels, and then ask people.
Oh,
to
we
like
plan
and-
on doing.
Oh, for real?
YouTube.
You guys are gonna do that? Awesome.
Eventually, yeah. I we're gonna.
Yeah, once we get the
we have to
budget for
figure that out.
cameras.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I have stuff. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, but Carmen, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you for indulging this movie, because it was either that or the Zeke the Plumber episode of Salute Your Shorts.
Why didn't we do that?
I don't.
That
You're
was
coming
available?
back. 'Cause we should do
Coming
that.
back.
That'd be fun.
Okay, we could do that.
Ooh, we should do like an episode where we just pick like a couple spooky episodes of TV shows.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that, like the Pee-wee's Playhouse with the monster, the Cyclops monster.
Large Marge?
No, but
Oh,
they
you're talking about something. I
the
got
green
you.
monster.
You mean the actual like show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we do the McPoyle Ponderosa wedding?
Yes. We can do
Okay.
Simpsons. Oh,
Yeah.
well, you know what? We'll
Bleep all this out. Can
Edit
you
it
just put
out.
beep
Right.
over it?
But yeah, no, Carmen, thank you so much for coming onto the show. Please
Oh,
come
yeah.
back and hang out and do some more
If
stuff with
there
us.
isn't any moral outcry, I will be back.
there will be moral outcry.
They're gonna be like, cancel him.
Well, come at me.
Come at me.
You're not strong enough.
You're not strong enough to take him on. But guys, thank you for listening. Everyone at home, without you guys, I don't know.
Be better off.
We'd be better off. But
We'd
guys,
still be doing this.
thank you so much, and thank you for listening to